invited them to hear some information.
Yes.
Okay. So, evening, everyone. I'm so happy to see you. And if you feel like being with your camera on, I would love that. But if you don't, it's okay. Hi, Iwan.
Hello.
Are you doing good today? How are you?
Smiling.
My, that's
Yeah,
good.
smiling.
And you have the background with your chart, and it's a background from the Ray Festival that we had. And
Yes.
yeah, the projector panel. So it's from the projector panel, right?
Yes.
And I have my mandala here in the back, you see, um, with the human design chart. And you can see that, down there, I don't know if you can see it, down in the mandala, there's the quarter of civilization, and this is where we're at now. And when gate two entered, the receptive, uh, the place where magnetic monopole is holding us in the illusion of this Maya and of oneness, I was kind of inspired, and I invited Iwan to have a talk about the quarter of civilization because last time was so much fun, right? Iwan, to sit and talk about types.
Yes. Love this.
And so today we'll talk about the quarter of civilization. And the name I gave this talk was um, building the new structures with expressing our unique voices. Because the quarter of civilization is all about, the structures of our culture and our personal life as well. And it's the quarter where all the gates of the throat are. So it goes together, manifesting. Uh, Even though this is the quarter of generators, which is interesting, right? I mean, if you look at all the hexagrams, they all start with yin yin lines, the yin yin binary, which is the generator aura. So it's on the one hand a very yin quarter, starting with the receptive, and on the other hand, it's all manifesting, it's all the throat. So an interesting time to be in. And we started talking a little bit, Iwan and I, before you guys came in, about what is happening in the world. So Iwan, you were sharing a little bit. Would you like to share, like, put us in the context of what's happening in the world now that 2027 is coming in big steps?
Yeah. Everything is going into a new direction. This is this is gate two, right? Going to a new direction, having a new vision, and everything changes. And sometimes, when changes comes, they come with challenges. And it's very funny to see that the only two gates in this quarter that are not the throat gate, right? And except 15, which is the balance, are provocation and gate of the new beginnings, right? So just
I think there
picking
are
up.
three root gates, right? There are three in the quarter. If I'm
There are some others. Let's look. Yes,
But
and
you were saying about the situation in Romania, and I was
252.
sharing
Yes.
about, okay, so you're saying provocation has to do with that. Sorry. I'm
Yeah.
waiting.
Sitting, 53, 52, 39, meaning, just sit and wait and see the provocation that is pushing you forward.
Ah, yes.
So,
Not so easy.
yeah, not so easy.
Yeah. And
And
so, and Iwan, you shared with me about what's happening in Romania, politically there's a mess, and I was saying, well, Israel is not it's not in order as well, but actually the whole world, and we can see it. I saw this ad about flights, like hundreds of flights that are canceled
Mm,
all around the world, canceled or delayed. And I was reading it and it was interesting to see if they would give the reason, you know? So, and they're just giving this list, how many in this company and how many in this company, how many flights in this city and in this, country. And it's like, there's no reason. They don't know the reason, you know? I mean, it's not, and I was thinking, this is so funny and so amazing when you have the context that you know that the structures are actually all falling apart now. And
yeah.
it's not so comfortable, you know? I mean, things are happening that are not comfortable. But when you know that this is just the old world kind of breaking apart and 2027 is coming, and we are actually in the last quarter of civilization before the global shift. So
Yes.
that's something, you know. I mean, as we speak, we are kind of watching the new structures emerge of, to take us into this future of individuality, of the spirit that is seeking intimacy and the intimacy seeking spirit, of the busy, busy being me, Phoenix, and I'm feeling it in my own life. I was sharing it with Ewan that I'm feeling it very strong in my own life. And I was wondering if you guys feel it as well in your personal life that, yeah, there's all this, breaking apart and it can be very challenging, like you said, Ewan, but simultaneously, it's like from inside, when you watch, you see that new structures are building, new ways of communication, with our spouses, with our friends, in our businesses. And I'm wondering if you want to write in the chat if this is something that you're kind of experiencing yourself, then I would love to know if I'm the only one or oh yes, I feel it strongly for a while, Roxana says. Nice. Okay, yeah, if you feel like sharing a little bit in the chat.
Mm,
Uh,
it's also seasons, this is the season of the extremes, I like to call it, because it's, love of humanity is about everything is going on, you know, ups and down behaviors, strange behaviors. And and yeah, in Romania it's crazy because it's crazy, but so beautiful to see that it's just happening around you and to see if it's also happening inside of you, right? Because it's just pure pressure to manifest or to, start or to be still or to, start something or get provoked or not. So as I was sharing with you this, retreat. Well, this is how it ends, because when you're too open, this is also the way of balance because, you know, choosing the right rhythm between extremes. Such a beautiful invitation. The world is about extremes. So how are you handling this civilization?
yes. And for those who don't know, I'm just gonna put the context that in the middle of civilization, we have gate 15. Yeah, gate 15 in the G, that is a part of the vessel of love. It's love of humanity, and it's the gate of extremes. It's right in the middle of civilization. So, what does it say about the human culture? All right. I mean, it's based on the extreme. It's like a pendulum that in the middle you have this gate, and we were talking about this being the gate of the aura. So
Mm,
it's all mechanics actually. What is in the middle of our culture? It's the aura. And if you look at civilization, it's the only quarter actually that has no awareness gates. There's no spleen there, there's no emotions, there's no ajna, so there's no awareness in our structures. It's just pure expression, it's just pure mechanics expressing itself. And so, what if we, each of us, are, correct with our aura? And this is the thing that human design brings because it is all about the form and it is all about the aura. And if we're correct with our aura, then we're correct with the other auras. And this is what can bring this, love of humanity in all these expressions that are very extreme, each one is something, but we can live together in harmony if we're each correct in our aura, and we can kind of slide in the structure. This is what it feels, Ewan, like you're sliding through life. This is what you talked about, like you see it happening around you, but it's not affecting you in any ways if you know who you are, if you are, waiting for the right response, for the correct invitation, for the correct manifestation, initiation coming from in you, universe pushing you, or if you're a reflector and, waiting for the moon, then you're just watching all of this. And so our culture is so messed up because we don't, most people don't wait. They don't watch. They don't move correctly with their auras. So there's so much friction. There's so much, violence and war and everything that's going on. It's just reflections of not self, basically. These extremes that can't be held correctly in the structure. Yeah. And so just to say that that's kind of a key, right? This 15 in the middle. And you said something beautiful about this, starting with the gate 2, which is the gate of the receptive. It's yin, 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 yin. It's all yin, yeah. And it's ending with a retreat, which
Yeah.
is, the gate of the collective memory, actually, and the story we tell ourselves. So in the end, is just, it's just a
Witnessing.
story.
In the end, you start receptive, but at the end, you just have to witness it all.
Mhm.
All the extremes, you witness it because the first part you learn about civilization, you learn about extremes. And then the second part of the civilization is the part where you apply what you learned. And the biggest lesson is witness it. Just witness it, just look back and reflect on it and realize, did it do something to me? Did I got lost in it? Was I too receptive to it? Or I was just there watching it and realizing, life is going, because this is the extremes. Life is going. Am I entangled into it, or am I living myself in this world? Which is so beautiful to see this way of, yeah, life is good, but well, not if you are lost in it. Just if you can watch and look back. So beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, and actually 33 goes with 13, right? And 13 is the witness returning.
Yes,
The
yeah,
witness returning in the beginning of the wheel in initiation. So there's like, you can look at it as half the wheel, right? Starting with the 13,
yes,
ending with the 33. And it's just the story before we go into duality and mutation. And it's just, you were talking, and I suddenly saw that, oh, it's like this
yeah.
half of the two first quarters. Um, and and actually the 33 is the story. So again, like it goes together, the witnessing and the story. If you understand that the
Actually,
culture,
it
that the
is history.
culture is
It's not a
just,
story. It's history.
it's, yeah, it's history, but it's
Yeah.
history is just a story. That's the thing. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
story.
It's a story, but it's history. And being history, if you get lost into history, then you don't see the new way.
Listen, I'm an individual, so
Yeah.
history is very collective, I don't care about history in a sense. For me, it's all the story. So he, she, they, them, it's all stories for me. And the culture is a story. As an individual, I see it, but I know as well, and this is where manifesting our unique voice comes in, is that when I live my truth, then I can change the story. When I change my relationship with what is happening, that I just watch and I see that it's a story, then something quantum happens. Because the watcher, and this is this is physics, quantum physics is just so real. I feel it in my experience that the moment this consciousness that I am sees a new story, that's reality. Yeah. And so, history, if you ask different people, they will tell you a different story. I mean, you can ask people what happened in an accident, for example, and each one from the space that they were watching it, because it's all about your point of view. There are different points of view, and each point sees a different angle and sees, I mean, it's just it. And so that's what I mean by it's all the story. Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
history. It depends whose side, which side is telling it, right?
Yes, but it's
Usually, it's the
also
victorious.
memories, you know.
Hmm?
And I'm
Memory.
this is my actually this is 70% of my body, and it's so
33.
much collective memory, and it's actually sharing the wisdom that you have, witnessed through all the building of it. And sharing this can actually help you overcome stories
Mm,
because other people don't have to go through the same, you know, extremes that you went through. If you just share your history, which may be painful, which may be extreme, but if you share it, then you can help other individually so that they don't get lost into your story.
yeah.
They can just, realize, wow, this guy, did so many stupidities. I will not do what he did. so, so, it's so beautiful to see also the beauty of this. This is the end of civilization, of this civilization. This is the end of this,
Mm-hmm.
you
Mm-hmm.
know, civilization. And then if I look back on it, I realize, well, maybe I was stupid, but at the same time, it was worth it because nothing is lost. You know, you can now let go and see the beauty of it and move on. you
Mm-hmm.
know, because the next thing is, 7 is moving forward,
Mm.
moving into the future.
Yes, that's duality, moving into
Yeah,
the future together, the two becoming one. But while you're talking, what comes up for me
yeah,
is how, we tend to think about the old structures ending and then
hmm,
something new needs to start. But my
yes,
experience is that new things are starting and they're kind of at the same time, yeah, new things are starting, new structures, and they're kind of pushing away the old in a sense.
yes, hmm,
And and this, yeah, this goes with the 33, like you said, the 33, and then 7 looks into the future, and that's
hmm,
very collective. That's the linear voyage that we share together as humans. I mean, it's when
yeah,
I see you talk, and I hear you talk, and I look at your chart there, and you're a 3-5, and you have that channel of the transmitter 4426, and you're actually talking about support. I mean, you're supporting your tribe when you're telling them your memory, and your memory is, where you fell and where you went wrong because you're a 3, and there your message comes out that something can come out of that. And for me, this is what's so special. This is like the unique voice that
yes,
we speak about, that there's no right and wrong. It's not like, okay, you're right or I am right. It's we each have this totally unique way of expressing the human experience that is so unique to us as well. I mean, it looks like we're all going through the same things, right? I mean, we all go through pain and love and death and whatever that we experience in life. But each of us is designed to, we have these lenses that we experienced it in a certain way, and we're designed to speak it in a certain way. And if we
yeah,
look at civilization, we see all the voices there. And here's something interesting to look at: your own voices. So most of us have a defined throat because only 25% of humanity has an open throat. And even those who have open throat, like E1 here, have gates in the throats, So, I mean, you do have specific voices, even if you have an open throat, but most people have a defined throat. So those voices are always constantly, there and can speak out through some channel. And looking at our gates in the throat, are they individual and speaking empowerment, mutation? Are they, tribal and speaking? So, well, there's only one tribal voice, huh? And that's the 45. I think you have it, right, Iwan? You have the 45.
Yeah,
I
it's
see it
it's
there.
it's very nice to see it actually. I'm the collective tribal voice, and you are the individually poor individual
Yeah, I
collective
have,
voice. Yeah,
but
so
I have collective voices. I
yeah.
mean, I have the 62 and I
But
have
you don't have mine.
and I have 31.
We are totally opposite
Different.
voices, and it's so
Yeah,
beautiful to see that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And it's amazing how we can, how we can come together as people. We're also, you're a splenic projector. I'm an
Mhm.
emotional manifester, everything. I mean, I only have the emotion, the throat, and the ajna. You have the heart and the root and the spleen. and and to see how we come together as structures and create together a new structure,
Mhm.
and I mean, we do this in pairs, and then we do that in pentas in our families, and then we do that in big groups in was, if we're teaching, or if we have a business together or whatever. When people come together, just seeing how it's just structures coming together. It's like God playing with itself, It's just kind of universe putting people together, structures together, and creating new structures to look at, like new jigsaw puzzles, creating new pictures. And
Yeah.
this is actually how we create the new structures. And it happens so naturally, right, Iwan?
Yes.
It's like this thing, it's like a year ago I came to Romania for an immersion that, you kind of, well, you invited me to come sometime, and then I called you and I said, let's do this. And then now Cosmin said, let's do a manifestor retreat. And then from that, it went on to, let's do an immersion as well. And then I called you, and then everything. And it just kind of moved so naturally, so effortlessly. There was no pushing in it. There's no, that when we move correctly together, it's just such joy in my experience, it's just joy. I wonder how you experience it, you on this movement together with people who are correct.
Yeah. For me, it's, surrendering to this process and letting it happen. This is my definition of success, actually, when
Mm,
things turn out and you don't have to force it, that's success.
mm.
And if it happens like this naturally, then it's okay. If not, this body here got tired of pushing a long time ago. you know, so
Thank
no more
God.
pushing. So
Yes.
yeah.
So I'm wondering, people, if you're looking at your throat gates now, and if you want to write, if you know the voices of your throats, if you know, like for example, Ewan was talking about 33.
Yeah.
The 33s I remember, right? Because
Yes.
it's a gate of the memory.
Yeah.
For me, I have gate 12, obviously, which says, I will try. If I'm in the mood, then I can try. If I'm not in the mood, forget it. I'm just gonna lie around and do nothing. I have 62 that says I think, and I have 23, which is now actually the sun is in 23 now, that says I know or I don't. So each one is I know or I don't. I remember or I don't remember. Yeah. I have 31. I will lead or not. Ewan, you have 45, which says I
I
have
have,
or
or I
not,
don't have.
which
Yes.
is actually we have, right? I mean, because it is the tribe.
Yes.
Never I have. It's we have. So Christiana says 33, 12, and 16. Nice. 16 is also trying. It's not trying. It's how what is 16 saying?
I experiment.
Experiment, exactly.
Yeah, and it's
Or not.
also, yeah,
And Stella has 23 and 12, like me. So I said those. 23 and 35. 35 is I feel. It goes to the emotions, and that's like the most emotional speaking gate. So it's the voice of emotion. Like 12 goes with 22, and it speaks emotion, but in a very different way. So I would say 35 is the most emotional voice.
it says, I encourage you to do that. No, 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 it's stupid. I don't encourage you. I had that experience. I burned out. Don't do it. So,
It
yeah,
sounds like you're speaking from experience. Yeah, you have the 35 as well.
yeah, I do.
Ah, yeah. And you have 35 and 16. That's
Yes.
so symmetrical, huh? You actually have quite a few voices, Iwan, in that open
I
throat.
got burned in them so much when I was
Oh,
in
wow.
it. Yeah.
That's a good point to talk about, open throat. I want to, and there's someone called iPad. Who's the iPad person? Would you write your name? So because you have many gates,
Mhm.
23, 8, which is the gate of the creative inspiration.
I,
And it
b-
says
I
I
bring my
will,
contribution.
yeah, I will contribute, or I can contribute. I know I can contribute because it's individual, or not. Um, and 15 is not in the throat, but 56, I believe, or not, the gate of belief. And what else do we have here? Again, 20, Kelly with 23, 45, 56, 16. So
Fif-
lots of voices.
You know, 60, 56 is also, I hope, I despair. So don't despair with me. Yeah.
It despairs if it doesn't find what it's searching for, huh?
Yes.
But I have the 11, so I kind of know the 56 from the other side. I tried to be a 56 voice when I was a before human design, let's say. And looking at those voices, and they speak something, and they speak a frequency. So I know is a frequency. I believe, or I feel, it's different frequencies. And so I kind of invite you to contemplate, to contemplate when you're speaking. Are you speaking that voice which is your voice? Because many times what happens is we speak other voices. Yeah, we speak voices of gates that close or split, or that go to a motor that we really want to fix into to become a manifesting generator or manifestor or whatever. So it's interesting to kind of hear ourselves speak and start listening if we are actually speaking our own voice. And this is something really good to do when we're experimenting with human design. It brings awareness to the way that we are expressing and what we are expressing. Are we expressing openness? For example, I gave the 56 as a as an example because before human design, I was a theta healing teacher. Yeah, I was a theta healing master, and I taught all the courses, and I was really, it was also, I'm an open G, so it was very much my identity, in a um, and theta healing was all about belief systems. So, like creating new beliefs, watching to see, kind of investigating where our beliefs come from to create a new belief system. So we create something else in life. Yeah. And I was constantly talking 56. I believe, and this is my belief, and let's change this belief and believe something else. And it was actually just my 11, which is my red sun, so like you said before, part of my 70% that I wanted to express directly, and not through that 4323. I wanted to express it directly, with my ideas, um, and so I tried to speak 56. And I'm not a 56. I actually don't believe. I either know or I don't know. I don't have, today I have no like belief systems. It's not my thing. I'm not saying that belief systems are not good. It's just not my story because I'm an individual. And so it's really interesting to see when we start to kind of consciously listen to what is going out of our mouths, that we can see, are we expressing our actual voice or are we expressing conditioning? Yeah. Do you feel like saying anything about that, Ewan? Sharing?
Yeah, so easy, so easy for a male projector to attract attention with all my, hanging
Gates.
voices, being taught to be a man and to go forward and to express yourself and to take things into your own hand. So difficult to, so it helped me so much to realize that I'm a projector and I don't have to attract attention. And people will give me the mic. And when it does, you see, I have so many voices. It depends which one gets hooked, and can speak. So,
Yeah, it was interesting because you just talked the 21 when you were talking about, the not self. You're saying that, it's to take things into my own hands, and that's 21 because, if there was just this 21, then you'd be a manifester and the
yes.
throat would be would be defined with this, strong ego to the throat. And it's just so amazing when we can see what's pushing us around from inside. It's so amazing. This is human design for me. It's the awareness. And then going back to our own voice, our unique voice for the structures in our lives that are correct for us is like we said before, through the aura. And this is where, feeling human design for me is the thing because we can sit and talk about it and gates and quarters. But really, when, starting to move correctly is when we feel it in our body. This is for me, this is my experience. Like the first time that I felt the aura in an immersion and I realized that the anger wasn't personal. It wasn't personal. I was sitting on a chair, closing my eyes, someone went my way, and I just became totally, enraged. And I opened my eyes, and he was 4 meters away, and that was a guy that was a friend. I mean, I like him, everything is okay. But once he started walking towards me, I felt rage. My body was on fire like a dragon. And I tell this story a lot because it was really a shock to me. Because you can hear, okay, you're a projector, and your aura is, going into the other, penetrating. And you can hear, yeah, you're a manifester, you closed and you're repelling, or you're a regenerate or an MG and you're open and you're all mixing. And it's one thing to hear it and have a story about it out of your history, right? I mean, you look
Yes.
at history and it tells you a story about yourself. And then when you feel it in the body, and when you're confronted with someone else's aura in the in the space, and they feel different than you, and you feel yourself in in relation to them, that's eureka, right, Iwan? What have you got to say about this? You had a moment with the auras, right? An immersion with
Yeah.
this splenic projector.
For me, it was amazing to see, or rather to feel this poking of the projector aura. So it was so easy to see this as poking because before that I just, had an idea
Mm.
how this felt. But then I understood what, the this quality that was there, and I then looked, then I showed people how it looks because it really looks like you're walking with a stick in your hand and you're poking everybody. So, but it was the first time I realized it was like that. And the first time I realized how, how disturbing that is for the person that is coming your way if you are not really for them.
Yes.
Because, meeting another projector and seeing these two light beams, intersecting and, you know, reaching each other was really such an eye opener for me.
Right. And sometimes I watch you guys, the projectors. It's really interesting, like in these things that we do in immersions, because sometimes it's like a romantic story, love story when you guys are, going with this. And sometimes it's really like Star Wars, just this like two lasers going into each other. And you can see the energy. They go, no, stop, and sitting on the chair and they go, stop. And it's two projectors. And that's something that was really interesting for me in immersion as well, because both my parents are projectors, my dad and my mom. And I've always seen this kind of moving in space where they can be like, sometimes like really like like two kittens, and sometimes like cat and mouse, like and and when I saw the auras in immersion, I totally understood that it's nothing psychological. It's just the structure. And this is so amazing when you realize that the structure is the aura, you don't take it personally anymore. And you can say, okay, this person is not for me. You just realize energetically or whatever, this person is not correct for me, but it doesn't mean I don't like him. It doesn't mean he's not okay. It doesn't mean, so that he's a bad person. It's nothing like that. It's just the movement is either correct or incorrect. And then so much suffering is kind of I mean, you don't have to suffer in relationships. Isn't that something? I mean, you don't have to suffer in relationships, let me tell you. You can say goodbye to relationships that are suffering in a good way. And if you are, correct in your movement, then the ones that are there for you, the new structure will come in the relationship that makes it a harmony and, and love. And I know this from my own experience, in my romantic life very, very strongly. Like when I went into human design, what happened? And then the whole kind of journey into correctness and being in a really good relationship. And it's like it seems like it's the same two people that used to fight like crazy, love each other, yeah, but fight like crazy and not understand each other and hurt each other even though they love each other. And like this two people today, me and my husband, it's like it's a totally different world. It's really quantum. It's like it's a different world. It's two different people. And that's like this the self and the not self, right? I mean, I it's just so you can see it with your eyes. You can feel inside where something is not, it's just not correct. It's an incorrect structure, that's all it is. So what happens if you feel about it this way or you think about it this way? It's just not a correct structure. And then either you're out of the structure or you say, okay, I'm going to be correct to myself. Yeah, I'm going to be myself in the structure. I'm going to be my own structure. And then let's see if this structure changes and it can transform to something that is correct for me. And this is human design for me. You want?
Yeah, that's so beautiful. The things that I realized lately, people ask me, does this chart change?
Mm,
And and what I realized is, you change in your openness, in the fact that unburden yourself with all the things that you carry from others.
mm,
And this is so obvious when you are in this immersion and you're left with people that are like you.
mm,
Because at the moment that you're left with people that are like you, at that moment there is no pressure. And suddenly can realize, oh, and somebody points to you, connect with this center or with that center, and then you connect with it. And then if you are aware, magic happens because you
Mm.
realize, something shifted, which is only experience because otherwise you can think about it. But if you're really careful, I mean, that's really beautiful. I don't know if I told you about this, but ego people, right?
Hmm.
Staying with the ego people and seeing them laying around, just laying there,
Yeah, wait,
doing nothing.
I just want to explain something, Iwan, for the people that might not know what you're talking about, that in immersion, what we do is we take a center and we kind of split the people. So the ones, for example, if we take the ego, then the defined egos are in one room and the open egos are in the other room. And each group kind of feels what it is, like Iwan said, to be with people that are like them. So Iwan, with his defined ego, was with the defined ego. I was with the open egos, right? So go
Thank
ahead.
you for explaining. Yeah. Yeah. So, and seeing all these people lying around, just lying around, I realized how tired we are,
Mm,
from pushing our heart, and how important it is to just rest. And in that moment, we really had time to rest.
mm.
Everybody was like, ah, so beautiful. So, you know, resting. And you think of it, it's, the heart needs to rest. The ego needs to rest. We forget about it so many times. But seeing these people ah, like,
Yes.
oh, just
You know,
rest.
it's
Yeah.
amazing now you speak about it and I can feel it in my body. So I just felt like my whole blood run through my body because I realized what you guys feel. Because, we the open egos, we have this idea of the ego as a very strong, it is strong, yeah, but as a very like strong kind of the leading force. And then when you said that, in a sense, it kind of, I don't know, it brought compassion in a way to my feeling about this center, which I love, by the way. I mean, I love the ego center is just so amazing to me, and I feel it's very vulnerable as well. And this I've learned in immersions as well, looking at defined egos and hearing them after we do this, we speak and then hearing what they say, like what you said just now, that my whole story about the ego changed after that. And especially this channel that you have, when Martin talks about this channel in Rave Biology, he says this is the channel that you guys need not only to rest during the day, but put your feet up, put your feet and legs up, because it has to do with the bloodstream. And you really need to kind of like when you put the legs up and the blood goes back down, to the heart. So especially 4426, that they need a lot of rest. They need to drink a lot of water. So if you guys are like, you want to have 4426, pay attention. Please rest during the day. Put your feet up, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It,
that's
it made a lot of sense when I read this from Martin, and I realized that I used to do this by my own when I was a child, just putting my
mm,
feet on the wall. Not on the table like the Americans, but just, putting my feet up.
yeah,
It's really about, you know, not forcing the heart because the heart has to pump.
yeah.
So,
It's the
and
bloodstream.
and yes, it's quite a good thing to put your feet up if you're at 26, 44.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, if you're at 26, you can put your feet up.
But you know what? I'm a 44. I have the 44 gate, and I remember as a child, but I used to do that. I remember in my bed in the evening in the summer, it's really hot in Israel. The summer is really hot and the wall is cold, and I used to kind of climb the wall with my feet. And I see Namika going, because Israelis, they know this, it's hot, and you kind of like want to stick to the wall to feel the cool, you know? So I used to do this
Yeah.
with my legs as well. And it's
Yes.
and this is another interesting point because this is my experience with human design that when I went into the experiment, some things I started to do reminded me of my childhood because it's the things that naturally I would do as a child that are, good for me and healthy for me that I just forgot or I put aside or, I was conditioned to do something else. And then suddenly these like really natural, expressions. And this, so we're talking about expressions here, right? So imagine, yourself as a child. And if you can remember, again, this memory, how you expressed yourself as a child, you know? Did you speak a lot? Did you speak less? Maybe more than today, maybe less. Did you speak in a certain tone that you're not using anymore? Did you sing? Did you used to sing as a child and you stopped, or were there certain people that you like to talk to more? Maybe it was your family, and maybe it was strangers, and maybe it was, older people, or maybe it was children your age. It all has to do with your natural expression and what you're designed. If you're designed to speak to the tribe or to the collective or to individuals, you would find other people to connect with, according to your expression. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? Yes? No? Maybe? Maybe, says Raluca. What I mean is, again, going back to the voices, that each voice has a certain expression that kind of seeks the same expression. Yeah. So, and other things, like I remember as a child, I have the 62, 62nd gate. And my father, who is a scientist and really a very smart man, but when he was younger, he was also very how shall I say? I mean, he used to think other people are stupid. He's a splenic projector professor in the university, type of thing. Uh, okay. And I remembered when I used to talk to him, and I'm a 62 and he's 1762. And I remember sometimes I would start speaking to him, and as an individual, I know, but I don't have the facts. I just know. And upon starting to speak, I would start to cry because something I had a problem talking to him because because of this how do you say when someone has a gate and the other has a channel compromise. Because of this compromise, I felt it in my body and my individuality when I wanted to speak, and I have a 2212, so it comes from my emotions. I used to kind of start, crying, and he would say, "But why are you crying?" Like, so I stopped crying, but I stopped, speaking certain things that I felt that I can't speak because if I know, but there's no facts, then I can't say it. I'm going to feel stupid, you know? And it's just one, if you kind of look at your childhood, then you can see about your expression, kind of what wounds you have there. We kind of have wounds of expression. And I see some people, I get that. I used to cry when I talked to my mom too. Luca, interesting. So interesting to look at your chart and her chart and see what's the dynamics. This is something I really love, looking at the dynamics, like we were talking, Ewan and I, about the charts before, yeah, like what you are, what I am, and then there's a certain communication between two charts. It's just so interesting, and then the structure that holds this communication. How are we with the time?
Well, we should close it
We
in
should
five
close
minutes.
soon.
It's always passing so quickly with you.
Wow. Amazing, huh? No
Yeah,
time. But I do want to say, first of all, Ewan, thank you so much. I always enjoy speaking to you,
me
whether
too. Thank
it's
you.
on live or just me and you, whenever. And thank you everyone for coming in. It was a pleasure. And I want to invite you and ask you and inform you that we have an immersion coming up. Also a manifestor retreat in Balashov. So if you're a manifestor, talk to me. But if you are interested in really feeling human design in your body, really experimenting with it in the aura, it really is a game changer to feel the centers, to feel the auras, to really understand your type deeply. And also, another thing that I love to do in immersions is practically put the types together and kind of teach the correct communication. I love doing that with projectors and generators the most because, they're the relationship that really, needs to save this save this planet. So I love doing that work. And so you really get practical tools for communicating as well. And those practical tools take to that expression of our unique voice in time if we experiment with it. Um, so it's coming up. It's 12 to 14 June in Brasov, amazing Brasov in Romania. There's a lot of Romanians here, so you know Brasov. If you're not from Romania, please know it's one of my favorite cities. It's an amazing place to take a vacation. Um, we're going to send you the link. Maybe we can put it here. Iwan, do you have the link to the page? Maybe I probably can
Mm.
find it as well. Let's see who finds it first. And actually, I do want to say as well that for this, if you guys haven't heard of this before and this is the first time you hear about this immersion, then for the next 24 hours, maybe we can open a code for you to have the early bird price, which is no longer in place, but we can give you a code and give you the early bird. I can't find it.
I put it in the
Ah, you put
chat.
it already. Yeah,
Yeah.
see. If you say to an eagle, let's see who does it first.
We
For
don't even try.
for sure you're gonna, but you won.
We don't even try. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Anyone wants to say anything, share, or kind of give us a word, a blessing for this whole group as we finish. If you want to say something, just open your mic. Go ahead.
Hey, I wanna thank you for this, and it's always a pleasure to hear you and Yuan, and I cannot wait for the immersion. It's
Yes,
going to be awesome, I think.
yes, it is. For all the hearts, I put a heart back. Thank you, Aluka. See you soon and hope to see. And I know some of you are there already in the retreat as well, Delia. Um, hope to see you. Let me know if you have any questions or, if you want to know anything else about the immersion, please feel free to contact me. There's my WhatsApp on the page. You can write me and ask me. I'm not such a scary manifester anymore. That's what I hear lately. Oh, you're not so scary anymore.
You are not.
Less scary than you were. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.